Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And again, hello, Administrator Regan. We really appreciate you spending this time with us. And just kind of following up on Chairman Pallone's line of questioning, I wanted to highlight some of the successes of the previous administration. When you consider that the EPA deleted all or parts of 27 sites from the Superfund National Priorities List. And it was the largest number of deletions in 2 decades. Yes, there's still more work to be done, but this was a priority, and we must stay focused on getting results. The EPA delivered approximately $295 million in brownfield grants directly to communities and nonprofits in need. I know in Spokane we've had a brownfield cleaned up, and it's now just it's a great contributor to our community. The EPA closed on 41 WIFIA loans, which led to financing of $16.8 billion for water infrastructure, creating more than 38,800 jobs and saving ratepayers nearly $4 billion. There were management reforms, such as 33% improvement in on-time completion of inspections and a reduction in backlog permits by 150. The combined air pollution emissions fell more than 7%, even as the economy grew. And I just highlight this because we continue to build on this record of success and accomplishments. I believe that we need to stay focused on results. We need to stay focused on making sure that we're spending money in a way that's actually going to get results. And it's very important that we keep the processes and programs that produce these results in place. The EPA received $9.34 billion in roughly the last year for its standard fiscal year appropriations, as well as the supplemental funding. Included in the supplemental funding is $100 million appropriated to the EPA under the recent budget reconciliation bill. This week, Senator Capito and I sent you a letter requesting an accounting of that $100 million appropriated to EPA through reconciliation. Are you able to tell us today if that $100 million has been spent? And if so, what have the funds been spent on?
I will circle with my staff. I know that request came in, and I have not been briefed on that yet, but we can get you those details.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to switch gears a little bit on a matter that's important in my home state of Washington, and that's cleaning up Puget Sound. And I wanted to raise this issue with you this morning, Administrator Regan. I think we all agree that generally speaking, it's better to limit pollution at the source rather than continuing to try to clean up efforts post-pollution. And I think that we agree that the deployment, I hope we did agree that carbon-free, renewable, reliable electric generation like hydropower is very important. In Puget Sound, we continue to have a lot of work that needs to be done. And a clean sound will benefit our economy. Will also help the critical salmon stocks in the Pacific Northwest. And one of the main reasons that the Puget Sound is dirty is because King County and the state of Washington is turning a blind eye to the pollution, to the sewage discharge that continues to happen in Puget Sound. There's over 70 sewage treatment plants dumping millions of gallons of raw sewage into Puget Sound every year. And it is threatening the salmon species in Puget Sound, the salmon species that are critical to the orcas, for example. But it's really concerning that once again, these permits are going to be issued instead of actually stopping the dumping of the raw sewage. You look at the Washington State Salmon Report, the Puget Sound salmon are in crisis. Having EPA remind a state and the city of its legal obligations will save future cleanup dollars. And so I wanted to ask you if I can get your commitment to look into making these large cities like Seattle stay within their limits of sewage discharge, just like the small towns in Eastern Washington are forced to do.
Yes, you have my commitment there, and I've already committed to the governor of Washington and other representatives that we want to work with the state to be sure that their delegated authority is being done correctly. And I agree with you that the Puget Sound is not only great ecologically, but provides economic opportunities as well. So we want to partner with you on that.
Well, what's happening right now is unacceptable, in my opinion, for the salmon, for the orcas, and for our water quality. So I look forward to working with you. And with that, I yield back. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.